Hello guys, Ryan of Fables here with my first installment of my reread through of the Fables universe, starting with issue 1. Both variants I wanted to show off today. I slabbed them myself. I have not had them graded. You can find issue 1 in the trade back as well, Legends Exile, which collects the first volumes, the first arc in Fables, as well as in the hardback deluxe edition. Now I want to start off with a synopsis or a brief overview of what the first issue is about. It is titled Old Tales Revisited. It begins with Bigby Wolf, or as we know him as, the Big Bad Wolf, but now reformed, investigating a possible murder in Fabletown, a secret community of fairy tale characters living in modern-day New York. He's called upon by Snow White, the deputy mayor, after it's discovered that her sister Rose Red is missing and her apartment is covered in blood. As Bigby starts questioning suspects and piecing together clues, we are introduced to the idea that fairy tale characters, called Fables, have been driven out of their homelands by an enemy known only as the Adversary, forcing them to hide in the human, or what they refer to as the mundane world. The issue ends on a cliffhanger with the mystery of Rose Red's disappearance unresolved, setting the tone for a noir-style detective story blended with fantasy. Now, the first issue, the artwork is not by Mark Buckingham. It is actually, I'll show you the credits here. Penciled by Lan Medina. So you could also see it's inked by someone you're going to see a lot. Steve Laloha, I believe it's pronounced. And it opens up very, very frantically with a Jack Horner, that is the Jack and the Beanstalk Jack Horner, running to Bigby's office to let him know that something terrible has happened. We're introduced to a lot of characters in this first issue, that being Beast and Beauty, Beauty and the Beast, Snow White, and I love how they open this up, because they open it up right to, hey, these may be fairy tale characters, but they have a lot of the same issues that we everyday people have. You know, they're not the perfect couple, and every time they argue, he starts to turn back into his beast form. It's a very, very fun take on everything. We are introduced to Boy Blue, very, very briefly, which he's one of my favorite characters, and in later issues you kind of figure out why. We have Prince Charming. Now, the great thing about Prince Charming in this is there isn't a whole bunch of Prince Charmings. There isn't one for Beauty, or not Beauty, sorry, Beauty does have her own Prince Charming. There isn't just one for Snow White, or one for, you know, what's her name? It's Sleeping Beauty. One for Cinderella. It's all this same guy here. And he's somewhat of a ladies' man, but he's gone through the wives, and the wives have a vendetta, really, against him. They all, even in later issues, they get together to just gripe about how much of a scumbag Prince Charming is. We are shown a little bit of Rose Red there, which is the sister of Snow White, as I had briefly said earlier. Now, there's some sections of this comic I'm not able to show just because there's a lot of blood. Oop, let me go and refocus that. There's a lot of blood from the apartment at the very end. I think it's very, very great that the first arc is a lot more different as far as tone, as far as genre, compared to the rest of the series. The first arc is that noir-style fantasy, a little bit darker, and the Wolf Among Us video game really took inspiration from that first arc. It goes from noir-style fantasy into the second arc, which takes it into more, it's a fantasy drama, fantasy day of life, and then it gets into fantasy adventure. So there's so many different ways that this story has been told, and you'll really see a shift in the art style as well as the overall, feeling of the book. It doesn't detract from it. I love they started out with the Norse style. I love it's more of a realistic art, more realism in how the characters are portrayed in this first volume, in this first arc. You'll really see a change in the art style. Let me go and grab the second book just so you guys can see the difference in book 2, which is Animal Farm, which is the next arc, and you can really see the change in how the characters are drawn. And just to show you, the penciler starting in the second arc is Mark Buckingham, and I am in love with his art style. It makes me very, very nostalgic anytime I see it. Well, that is my summarization of that first book, guys. You're introduced to a lot of different characters, and it being a lore style, or no, a lore mystery, is very, very smart, especially when introducing your fantasy world, because it allows that main character to go to each of the characters. It's a whodunit, and it introduces them all in the light of who is this person. And it really highlights the fact that, hey, these may be the fairy tale characters that we've come to know, but they are certainly not the same characters in these books, because they've lived for hundreds of years, and them being in the mundane world, living day to day right next to us, they've evolved, they've changed. Just because they were a good guy in the homeworlds doesn't mean that they're a good guy now. Same with the bad guys. When you have the big bad wolf, Bigby here, he's trying to reform, he's trying to be this better person, but in the eyes of all the Fables, he's the big bad wolf, you know? And a lot of them can't get past that, and the Wolf Among Us video game really touches base on this, and it concentrates more on his internal struggles of being a good guy, or trying to become a good guy. But that's it, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll reread the second issue here soon, and I will have that posted probably next week. Stay tuned for that restoration of the CGC Fairest issue 1. I will have that posted as soon as it comes in. Thank you so much. Have a great day.